Hey everyone, this is Corey Salty True Floyd, and this is the Amerime Junkies Podcast. Today we have on one of the smoothest brothers to walk the con floor, Webster Style. We're going to talk to him about what he does, how he does it, and who's some of the sharpest dressed characters in media. All that and more today in the Junkies Podcast. Hey. Of course, this is the Amerime Junkies Podcast. I'm Corey Salty True Floyd. But of course, I got to also bring in the boss, convo.
Can you hear me? I'll be back.
Okay. Not sure what's going on there, but our guest for today is Webster Style, one of the flyest guys around.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Now tell these fine folks out here exactly who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is, well, at least as far as the internet is concerned, I'm Webster Style, the man who wears fragrance. We are redefining the lifestyle of a gentleman at my website. I've been doing the website, the blog started in 2009 as a sort of reflection of not seeing enough representation of us in spaces like GQ, Details, Esquire, the like. And that has naturally evolved from just myself and people I've worked with in the past. Like, we are very much blurs. We're into tech, comics, anime, video games. The fragrance bug bit me about 2017, 2018. So I incorporated a lot more of that into my website as well. So now I will say it is, I wouldn't say I've defined it as one genre. That's why it's like redefining the lifestyle genre, because it's very much about, it comes from my passions, what makes me tick, but also when it comes to especially like the cons and interviews, it's really about highlighting people and people's passions, and the fact that we, as far as men, are not a monolith and really have our passions in various different aspects.
Okay. Nice. Hey, comic boss, I'm glad to see you got back in.
I had to go see the world real quick. Disaster averted. So what got you into fashion and the subculture, the subgenre of what we do?
Well, I would say I'm not so much into fashion as more style, because fashion like comes and goes. Style is especially men's style. I try to look and position myself in a way that the way I look now is the way I can still dress and present myself 20 years from now. You look at things like, even, I don't know if you guys saw Sinners this weekend, even some of the dress there, like that stuff from the 20s and how men dressed still pervades today. You look at things like Mad Men, a lot of the classic styling and fits of men, while suits and whatnot have changed structurally somewhat, there's still a certain format that pervades today. So I tend to look at it as, style, and as you grow, your at least outward style kind of changes. But style is not just dress; it's also as far as who you are as a man, and that's also where that comes as well. One of the things I say, especially now being in my 40s, I realized that like the way I like to dress, the way I like to present myself, I always think of Lawrence Fishburne and Higher Learning, Professor Phipps, and I always say to myself, well, that was like 95, so it was like my senior year of high school. I never would have thought at that point in my life I would evolve and grow to. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but this is what I wanted to look like. This is what was a representation, and just the fact that
Williams.
he's 30 years old, like that sort of style and that sort of presentation is still very classic, but also still very modern for today's time.
It is. Right.
They call it timeless.
Yeah.
So
that's the whole thing. And also that saves you money too. You buy things that never go out of style. Or you buy things that are fashionable, they go out of style. They are, like things like bell bottoms, they come back and forth. But a double-breasted navy blazer with gold buttons, that is always going to work no matter where you wear it and what you wear it with. Things like that are very much what I look to try to really add to my wardrobe, and also how I dress. I try to be versatile, not just like one sort of aspect of how to dress.
Right. So if you was in like a fantasy world, like would you be like that clean, dapper adventurer?
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's funny. And I know you guys get this. You watch things now, like you've seen them like for years as kids growing up and whatnot. But you watch some things now as an adult, and you have a different lens, and you watch it, and you're like, how would you like this? Man, like for instance, I went to see Raiders of the Lost Ark in the theater a couple weeks ago, right? Well, maybe about a month or two ago. And when I realized I'd never actually watched Raiders, I read the storybooks as a kid. I knew the story, but I'm like, wait a minute, I've never actually watched Raiders. So I saw it and thinking about, and also the game came out on Xbox as well.
Right.
So I played a little bit of that, and I'm thinking, this man is actually like in the jungle, like in this jacket and these jeans, and like he's still very clean cut for what you would think. In our generation, like what somebody would be in that situation. Even thinking of another sort of adventurer, Richard Chambers passed away. King Solomon's Mines, Alan Quatermain back in the day, like that whole sort of like those guys were very well dressed to be in the jungle. Yeah, trying to find treasure. So yeah, that would definitely be me.
Yeah, because today's adventurer would be more dressed like Nathan Drake.
I only know even Nathan Drake, it harkens back to that. I think in real life, it would be more function than anything. A lot more. They'd definitely be shopping at Cargill and REI, and there'd be a lot of repellent sort of stuff and insulated stuff to make sure if you fall in the water, whatnot, waterproof stuff. And I don't think any of that stuff back then they even thought about that.
Mm-hmm. They're just like, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so
how do you find working the cons instead of going to the cons?
It's definitely different. A lot of it, and I'm sure you guys understand, is strategic. Sometimes, I would say, and you guys probably know this as well, there are some people who you see and you built up relationships all the time. You want to talk to them, but sometimes you're like, I just interviewed you last con. I want to try to get some different creators, but you love talking to those people.
Mm-hmm.
At the con. So it's like, I'm gonna say hi, what's up, but like I'm not, like for instance, I just went to Awesome Con. They were literally, because Awesome Con was what, May-ish, April. Okay, so April. Well, no, yeah, April. Right before that was BlurCon. Right before that was HawkCon. Rod Van Blake. I saw him in all three. I literally still have my video from HawkCon because I've talked to him, but I hadn't talked to him since Baltimore Comic-Con last year, and he has some new stuff. But I'm like, much as I love Rod, I'm like, there's no point in me getting him at BlurCon and at Awesome Con when I just saw him literally 2 months ago. Nothing's changed since then. And I still haven't published my video, at least at the time, from HawkCon. So a lot of it's strategic, trying to find new creators to talk to. I think for me is, and things also, and I'm sure you guys get this as well, you want to be interested in what they're doing, not just like, oh, that was cool creation. It's, am I interested in it? Because that comes across in your interview as well. If you're not really interested, if you're not engaged by what their merchandise is, then the interview's not going to come off well.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
so a lot of it's being strategic, finding out who, like, you know, talk about PAX. One thing I love about them, and they've spoiled me, like a lot of PR people, they send out stuff beforehand. So I had scheduled research, like that was awesome. I wish that a lot more cons would give, if not necessarily PR stuff like that, but you have a better understanding of like who's going to be there.
Most game conventions gotta operate like that.
Yeah.
because it's twice as brutal for like PAX East for Bit to schedule time for video games.
Right.
Because it's like, listen, this is the time. If you're not here,
right.
That's one of the most beautiful things about PAX. Like PAX East or PAX Unplugged, like they have their media pool and the people and the people that's showing off what they got. They sending you what they got a month in advance. Like, hey, if you're coming, we're going to be here. This is what we're debuting. So, yes, it definitely gives you a lot of time to prepare and to research. Because me and Corey do the interviews, so we research on, like, I want to talk to them, but I don't want to talk to them. I want to talk to them. I'll talk to them later.
Exactly. Like you know, PAX is coming up. I finally made my plans for that, and I based that solely on people reaching out. What are their schedules? Okay, what is my work schedule? What? Oh, that's Mother's Day weekend. Oh, I can't stay till Sunday. You know, it's like, you know, all these things going on, but it makes it a lot easier to do. And then, like when you don't have that though, it's a lot more taxing. Because you want to make sure you get, you want to make sure you your time is worth it, so you're getting good content. But there are sometimes so many people you want to talk to, you just don't get enough. But also, too, you want to try to enjoy the con as well. You want to participate. You want to, take it in. I think, like for me in BlurCon this year, I think I only really sat in like one panel, maybe two. Most of my other time, I went to like three panels, but I was really just getting footage and talking to people, which is why I haven't published anything yet, because I have just so much content to get through. But it's just so many people and dope creatives there to talk to. So it's like it's not enough time even with the 3 days. But then you go to like I saw you guys at Fan Expo. I think we missed each other. Philly last year. And just even there, it was almost like it was hard sometimes finding like interest, because there's so many vendors more so than creatives at a Fan Expo. And then especially since, while it would be cool, like I am not a person, I don't care about famous people. I don't care about talking to the voice artist. If I, stumble across somebody, that's cool. But I am not one of those outfits that's like, oh, I can't wait to talk to so-and-so or so-so, except Farpoint, because they do a really good job of trying to schedule interviews with people. So I'm like, hey, you got the new Nurse Chapel. Oh, hook me up with an interview when it comes around. Like they do a very good job.
We'll do an excellent job at scheduling interviews too. Otakon.
Okay.
Otakon did a good job scheduling interviews.
I haven't done Otakon. I haven't done it since it was in Baltimore, and it was like years ago. I was in college. Like I haven't been to
Otakon. They gave us our first press pass.
Nice.
Trust me, everybody misses Otakon being in Baltimore. Like DC cool and all, but
I will say this, and I'm from Baltimore originally, so I'm biased. There is a charm of having a convention, especially Otakon, downtown by the Inner Harbor in a convention center. It's just like that's one reason I love going to Baltimore Comic Con. It's so welcoming, that area. DC and then where the Washington Convention Center is, while it's convenient for me where I can just drive a couple minutes and catch the train into the city, since I'm close, it's still, I don't feel like it's ever that conducive of a, how can I put it? It kind of keeps you there. It envelops you. I would even say, while I detest parking at National Harbor, because National Harbor is the way it is, like for MagFest or KatsuCon or whatever the con is there, everything is right there. You don't have to go anywhere. As far as like food or even like you look out on the harbor there are a lot of sort of activities there. Even the hotels, like everything is right there. With DC, anything in DC, it's not as enveloping because you're in DC and you still have all these other things and people just spread out and nothing's really, I wouldn't say nothing's really close, but it's not the same sort of feel to me.
Right. Do you have a favorite con?
If any, I would say the con I would definitely go to every year is BlurCon. Like that's whether I'm going as panel BlurCon.
Okay.
Yeah, because that is
kind of shit.
I was talking to I think Charles Henry when I interviewed him on my show, and even Mark from Rhodography, because they came on the live stream because that was both of their first years. And one of the things they both conveyed was like that feeling of home that you get being there. And that's exactly why I like going. One is close to me, so I'm like, it's a 20-minute drive from my house, so I have no problems whatsoever going.
I'm hitting a little bit.
Right. But it's such a space for me where I remember that second year, it was just, I went as just a regular guest. I didn't know a panel or nothing. And it's so welcoming. It's so warm. But also it's a reconnection. There are people like over the years, there are people I went to school with that I see or only saw there. There are people I went to school with that like in my wedding, and we talk all the time, and we hang out there, and we catch up. I've seen people I've worked with in various capacities show up there. And I've built friendships and connections through BlurCon as well over the years. And that's why I was like, it just feels like home. If there's any con I'm going to any year, like that's the con I would go to. And also, I love the programming. The programming, it really runs across the board. And there is, what is this phrase? We listen and we don't judge. Like there's anything there literally, and there's no judgment, no nothing. And one of the things I this year I really loved, and I remember specifically, there was this white woman, and I don't know if she had 2 or 3 kids, but she had her kids there, and they were enjoying themselves and whatnot. And you know what? Nobody batted an eye. Why?
No.
Because it's all family. And look, we all geeky blurs, and regardless of what color you are. And that sort of family is what I love. And then food trucks, Taste of Trelawney. I got to get my oxtails every year I'm there. It's just, there's so many different things that I just love about that. So it's just awesome.
Next year, when we show up, you gotta take me and Corey out for some oxtails.
All right, cool. Yeah. That Taste of Trelawney truck is right there. Yeah, definitely.
Needs that.
And the funny thing is, I didn't even get any this year because one, being in March, it was cold out there, and those lines, I'm like, I ain't even doing it. I actually stayed Saturday night, so I ended up getting Uber Eats from like Buffalo.
I ain't gonna lie, like I like that it wasn't super hot, but also wish it wasn't that kind of breeze.
Yeah, like now would be the perfect time to do it. Late April, that weather, like it's like 75 degrees out there, right? Something like that.
And it's funny because the cosplay I had, the jacket was fucking built perfect for that weather. I was just like, oh, I'm good. I'm just like, oh, all right. At first, I was about to be mad, but I was just like, this is wild. I was like, I don't know what the deal is, but we're equator people.
Right.
right. I tell you, man, we go to a lot of cons, and we've been to a lot of cons, but by far, BlurCon will probably be my favorite. And it's not that it has anything over the other cons, but like you said, it's that sense of family down there.
Yeah.
Like everybody down there chilling. I ain't seen not one issue. When we was
I've
down
never
there.
had to deal with some. It's one of the few cons where I never have to worry about the smell of ass.
It smelled like cocoa butter.
Yeah, there are a couple of people I walked by that could have used some deodorant, but it wasn't bad.
Well, you gonna get that.
Yeah, you're gonna get that.
You're gonna get that with nerves sometimes. Unfortunately. Maybe I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a guy walking around. Not at BlurCon. I think he's at Otakon. He was walking around with like cologne and stuff.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it. Somebody had a table set up last year, the year before, selling like deodorant and stuff at Blur.
Yeah,
correctly. Yeah, I was like, that shit is genius. That was genius. Yeah, cologne ain't gonna do it. You need some like this is what somebody should do. Go to the dollar store, get all those like clean wipe things. So people just like go in the bathroom, do a quick whore bath, so to speak. Wipe up, put on some deodorant. You're good to go. That's what somebody need to do.
It needs to go into a convention kit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Along with hand sanitizer, because con crud is real.
Yes. Yes.
I got sick like twice coming from a con.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm going to be expanding on this eventually. Best dressed villain.
Ooh. The first person that comes to my mind is Lex Luthor. Because Lex Luthor does not buy cheap suits.
Okay.
And he's all about power suits. And how can I put this?
Especially with the Clancy Brown, Brown voiced, kind of black looking, but we accepted him as black.
Yeah. And he was at like that tan hue too in the Superman series. But I would say, based on real life events and how individuals dress, definitely not the individual in charge. I put it that way because he's sloppy. But considering what I've seen populating the area, there's definitely a certain look, a certain power suit Navy. I swear to God, I think they shop at the same place. I think every single one of them shop at the same place for their Navy suit. Like, I've never seen so many different men wear the same Navy suit, same shade of Navy. And like the exact, I'm like, y'all had to, did y'all do this? But I say that to say Luthor is like one of those people who I feel like he would, every suit he has is like a $5,000 suit, bespoke from Savile Row up in London. He's coming in projecting power, confidence, and strength. Other than that, you gotta go with Tony Stark. But I think he wants to look good, but he wants to look fast. Like he wants to look. At least the Tony Stark persona is very flashy. So he's not so much about like the power suit and everything. He's all about the flash of the fanciness. And so I'm thinking he's more in designer sort of outfits. Who else? I love the Question. I've always loved his outfits.
Well, I mean, his outfit screams classic.
Yeah, His outfit screams style in that fashion, as you were speaking about earlier.
But I do appreciate that he has a car that perfectly accessorizes it. It speaks to him.
Right.
What do you think about
And just as far as like,
go ahead, you saying?
no, go ahead. No,
I'm
what I
about to
think
ask you,
about.
what do you think about somebody's style like Bruce Wayne compared to Clark Kent?
Oh,
I don't see
Lord.
Clark Kent as like. Okay, this is something I said to a friend of mine. I even like in one of my posts the other day. There's a difference between a man wearing a suit. Excuse me. How do I put it? Let me go find this post and read it. Because it was something, and it's again in my day-to-day experiences. Yeah, I said there's a difference between a man who wears a suit as a uniform and one who wears a suit as a statement. Clark Kent, that's a uniform. That's all that is.
All day.
Mhm.
All day. I can see Bruce. See, Bruce is hard because Bruce is really the alter ego of Batman. Is who he really is.
Yeah.
So I even see that as more so being a uniform, but Bruce would be a lot more meticulous because he has to fit a certain aesthetic being a billionaire. So I can see him doing both. It's a uniform because it's a mask for Batman, but also as a statement because Bruce Wayne has to be the one to make a statement.
Right. Right.
Like there's a role Bruce Wayne plays, and he has to play it to a T
Exactly.
every time.
Yep.
Especially when it's business Bruce.
Oh yeah.
That's the mask right there, right?
Yeah.
The business side of it.
I would say one of my favorites, especially when it comes to being one of the best dressed villains I've seen in modern media. I give mine to Mads Mikkelsen as Hannibal
Oh
Lecter.
yeah, most definitely. I mean, but Hannibal, even with Anthony Hopkins, like Hannibal was always he's all about class and refinement. Yeah. So that is not surprising. And Maz just comes across even look in any of his characters, even when he's played was it Grindeldorf? Was that the name in?
Oh man, Grindelwald.
Grindelwald, that's what it is. Yeah,
Grindelwald. Yeah.
Like, and again, I love that whole like 1920s aesthetic, but he always, I feel like, is into characters that are very stylish, or at least their dress commands a certain sort of presence for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Because he just seems like he has a stature to him as his person, and they accommodate based on that.
Yeah, I always enjoyed that. I always enjoyed the book series, and then when they did the show, and I was just like, I don't know if this dude can do Hannibal Lecter.
Right.
But after a few episodes, I was like, all right, I'm sold.
Right.
But then the more I watch it, like, yo, this man's drip is impeccable.
Exactly.
I'm just like, ain't too many serial killers out here giving GQ fashion.
Do you have a character in pop culture who you think is like impeccably dressed at all times? Like Kingpin in this season of Daredevil.
It's funny. While this isn't like I've always, you bring that up. I was thinking, I've always liked the uniformity of Matt Murdock and how they address the character dressing as being blind, and I think they had some of that as far as like colors and one of the explanations this season. Kingpin definitely. It's funny. We saw the comic Kingpin in Hawkeye and then somewhat in while it was cool to see that, I'm glad that's not what we're seeing in Daredevil Born Again, because I felt like that version would not work with the grittiness of what they're doing. I felt like the cartoonishness of him in the Hawaiian shirt and white jacket and hat it worked for Hawkeye because it was a lot. The series was a lot lighter, even though it touched on some, heavy themes of loss and whatnot, especially
I think that was just they did that for the sake of the callback from the comic.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But it worked. But something like that would not have worked. And again, I haven't watched Echo, so I don't know how that really transpired.
Echo was actually a much better show than you expect.
I didn't think it would be bad. I
thought it would be meh. But it was like, you know what? You actually had solid writing.
Right.
I was like the action sequences were actually really good, and I like that this character's backstory is actually really solid.
Right. Got you.
Yeah, but I agree. Cartoon or comic book Matt Murdock would not work in this new version. Like Hell's Kitchen is super gritty.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that they've done a good job in dressing. I like Master Murdock's suits in the series because they are functional. Like, he still looks pretty decent. He's not like dressed to the nines, but they're very functional in what he's doing. He still comes off very prepared. And I think that sometimes that when costume designers do gentlemen in suits, that they have a hard time with the duality. I think of something like a Suits, TV series or whatnot, and like Harvey Specter and that sort of like Gabriel Mata, like he was dressed well, but he looked like he was dressed to the nines all the time and wanted to make a statement, but his suit didn't seem, I guess, functional comparison to, say, how they're presenting Matt Murdock in the courtroom and how in his suits and how he's dressed. And obviously, different men, just cut different ways, shows and whatnot. But just kind of to juxtapose the two to make my point.
I hear you. I get it.
Definitely.
Because first off, the folks in suits, they look like if you talk to them about some pro bono work, they're gonna look at you like, the fuck is that?
Exactly.
I don't understand what the hell they talking about. But
have you watched not Daredevil, the animated that just popped up on Netflix?
Devil May Cry?
I haven't. One of the things that's been hard for me really in the past few years is really watching a lot of stuff like I used to. I have to make appointment viewing. Like, I'm behind on Daredevil Born Again. Like, typically what's happened is like, if I get a series, especially one of the living ones, like, I'll sit and that'll be my dinner time. So I'll make dinner, I'll feed the family, I'll sit down and eat in the den, and that's when I watch that show, because I know if I don't make it a point, it's not going to happen. So like, I did that with Halo. I still have to. I did that with Star Trek Discovery the last season. Strange, like, so I don't binge watch a lot of things like I used to. Say, kids do that to you, but I don't, and I feel kind of bad because there's so many things that I want to watch. I haven't.
It's okay, man. Listen, when you said Halo, my head was like, yeah, you can skip that shit.
What, Halo?
Yeah, Corey has been very vocal.
The first season was absolute garbage. That pissed me off so much. But the second season, I don't know what they did. I don't know how they righted that ship. But it was such compelling television. Now, mind you, it is not a 1-to-1 from the games, and I haven't been Infinite. But
no, it didn't have to be a 1-to-1 from the game. But I'm like, yo, y'all rewriting too much story now.
I feel you. I don't disagree. I just think, all right, second season came around. They've already done what they did. Is it good television? The second season was good television, except for the introduction of the Flood. That pissed me off.
No, God.
That because what is that trope we like to say? Stupid, those sort of people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, like, okay, so you're playing a flood like it's devolved into a typical zombie thing. And I'm thinking, you got the flood. We haven't had silence in the library. He hasn't even gone into the ring yet. How do we have the flood? Like, that's what pissed me. Like, that much of a retcon, not even a retcon, a rewrite. Like, that whole season, like, I was feeling up until then. It's like, how do you have the flood without silence in the silent library, or whatever the stage is called? Like, that introduction to the flood, because you don't know what's coming. And now you have this whole planet that's now being affected. Like, I'm kind of glad it got canceled, but I was upset it got canceled too. Oh, and then the whole thing with Master Chief having sex the first season. I'm like, what?
Yeah, see, I
was like, oh my God, why? Who thought this was a good idea?
First of all, they lost me the second they went out of their way to reveal his face at the end of the first episode.
Oh, I had no issues with that. I know that people did. I had no issues.
I had plenty of issues because they kept talking a good game about how they understand the Halo story and they understand the characters. And I'm like, you really understand the characters? This first episode just told me y'all don't give a damn about the characters.
Yeah.
And the second I saw it was him, I was just like, oh, you want this to be your launching pad. This ain't it.
Let me say, that first season, man, was just really bad. It was really bad. And
the most interesting character was Bokeem Woodbine's character.
Yes. And even his story got on my nerves in the first season. Second season, I was feeling it. But the character, Makee, oh my God, that character was so insufferable. I was like, why is this person here? Why do you have a human that's with the Covenant? I'm like, who thought this was a good idea?
And you know what it comes down to? And it's the same thing that me and Corey talked about for The Witcher, right? It's the people who they hire to make these adaptations don't know anything about the lore or the source material
and they
that
don't
they
want to.
And they don't want to. Like Marvel just dropped a video of a bunch of their directors saying they have never picked up the comic of the movie that they're making. So that's what the problem comes.
We know, we can tell.
I think that with some things, you don't have to have ever like comic movies, right? Especially depending on the character. You're a certain age. There have been a lot of different interpretations of characters over the years that you can glean from, and then go to the comics. Cool. Halo, there is only one depiction of Master Chief, and that depiction in that world has gone through several video games and several books.
Right.
For you to do something that is drastically different. And I just said, my whole first season, I'm just like, yo, can we get the Fall of Reach, please? Like, can we just get this over with? Like, you are dragging this out way too long. Let's get off of Reach and let's just go. Because I want to see the Fall of Reach. Like, there's especially playing Halo Reach, playing ODS. Well, ODST isn't Reach, is New Mombasa. But playing Reach, playing Halo 1 and 2, and 3, and having that story for them to make the changes that they did, I just could not you can make changes, but you have such a rich story right here, especially like you're on Reach. This is set before the Fall of Reach. You have a whole game. You have a whole movie they did based off that. You have a book they've done off of that. Why are you not adapting the material that's already there because the material is already good? Why are you trying to make up your own interpretation of this? You can make changes, cool, but you just changed the whole damn thing.
Right. Like I said, it don't have to be a 1-for-1, but there's a story already there for you to create.
Right.
And that's what people want to see when you adapt one of our comics or video games or anime, like we want to see that anime on the live screen. Like, if you just wanted to create a sci-fi series, you should have just done that.
Like,
But
I'll give you an example of a movie that should not work but does, because I think it's exactly what we all wanted to see. That second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie they did. That second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie was literally like an episode, a live action episode of the cartoon.
right.
With the Pterodome and Krang and everything.
Oh, when they bought. Okay, yeah.
Like, I was happy with that. I didn't like the first one they did. Oh, and you had Rocksteady and like everything we wanted growing up on the cartoon was in that movie for the first time ever in live action. I was happy with that movie. I enjoyed that movie because it's what I wanted to see. I don't expect that movie to be high art. I don't expect that movie to be cinema.
Right.
So you don't have to do a one-to-one. Just give me those major plot points that I want to see as a fan and somebody who knows the lore.
Right, like the Fall of Reach.
Yeah, exactly. It happened this way.
Yeah.
And honestly, they didn't even glass Reach. They just blew it up, if I remember correctly. How do you not glass it? Like, that was like what the Covenant did.
I think that's one reason why Corey hated it.
There was so many different things I was hating. I'm just getting upset thinking about it.
If you want to know Corey's thoughts and views, head over to AmerimeMedia.com and the article is up there. He gives his review in depth on why he loved Halo so much.
Yeah, my review is literally entitled "Fuck You, Halo."
He loved Halo so much.
Tell him why you mad, son. Tell him why you mad.
Because it really was just like, I don't understand how you guys really fucked this up. It's bad enough making live action Halo stuff has been in production hell since like 2004. I was like, this is how long I've been waiting for this.
Right.
This is it.
Pretty much.
Right. It's crazy. Well, I was hoping for season 3 because I thought they did some course correction in season 2 that I could live with, except for that whole flood thing. But I'm kind of happy there isn't a season 3 now after about a year of retrospect. This is the thing, and I'll say this with Microsoft, and they lucked up with Minecraft. Microsoft has a lot of IP that would translate into absolutely amazing television and movies. Halo's one of them. The other one that they had, why am I forgetting the game? Why am I forgetting the name? Because they ended up like the game didn't do well, and they sold the company. It was Tango game. Anyway, I forget the game. But I was like, when I saw that, I was like, yo, this is anime. This is toys. Like, you need to market like the hell out of this. Like, this would be a great animated movie. But, they dropped the ball on that. They got a hit with the Minecraft movie, so maybe even though I've heard that's absolute trash, but
wish shocked the shit out of me. When Corey told me that Minecraft was a success, I ain't believe it.
Listen, I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm just saying it's success.
It hits the target demographic, which is probably what it does.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just like I'll say Mario Brothers wasn't a great movie. It was a fun movie. It wasn't a great movie.
Still better than Space Jam 2.
You actually watch that? I refuse. I played the free video game for sure, but I refuse to watch Space Jam 2.
Are you watching anything right now?
I'm trying to finish Daredevil, Born Again. Other than that, two things I'm trying to finish. Last season, Lower Decks, actually I was watching it and then I fell asleep, so Paramount kept playing, so I got to go back and see which ones I missed. But I think I'm like 3 or 4 episodes left in the season. Daredevil Born Again as well. And that's about like the most current stuff I'm watching. Strange New Worlds comes back out this summer, so I'm looking forward to that.
About damn time.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. So those are things I'm really watching, looking forward to. Honestly, a lot of my TV watching, and this is something that my like if I have the TV on, I'm watching like YouTube and stuff like this. You guys and other people I follow, but if I'm watching any TV, I literally go to Tubi. I put on old school Doctor Who or Star Trek. That's what's playing in the background. And also, yeah, Doctor Who. My spouse and I we binge watched the last season a couple weeks ago, and they just started a new season, so we'll probably knock those out this weekend sometime or next weekend.
Do you have a favorite Doctor?
Fourth Doctor.
Well,
yeah, that's the one I grew up on. Growing up in Baltimore, they showed Doctor Who on Maryland Public Television, like on Saturday nights. So that's where I first was introduced to Doctor Who, and the first one I saw was the Fourth Doctor, Tom Baker. And for the longest time, I didn't watch it if it wasn't him. So everybody else was like, oh, this is like some, as a kid, I'm like, oh, this is some bullshit. It's not the real Doctor. But then when they brought it back out with Echelon in 2005, I was watching it. And that made me go back and rewatch a lot of the old Doctors. Like, I'm a big fan of the second Doctor. I don't know, the first Doctor I'm just not a fan of. I think a lot of it's the storytelling, personally speaking. But I love Patrick Troughton as the second Doctor. I love him. His stories, especially with the Tomb of the Cybermen, is like one of my favorite Doctor Who stories. It is such a great element of horror in that story. It's so cool. The newer Doctors, I love all of them. Tennant. Jodie Whittaker, I feel like she got a raw deal. Chip Dawes' show running sucked. I feel like her best story really was that last season with Flux. I feel like that was the best writing, and I felt like that's when she started to feel like the Doctor, because the previous two series, like they had some hit or miss, too many missed episodes and not enough hits, and a lot of storytelling just wasn't it for me. And I really felt bad because I thought she was a really good actor. I loved her interpretation of the Doctor. I just thought that a lot of the stories that they gave her were not of the caliber that they needed to be. But of the newer Doctors, Tennant is always going to be my favorite. Matt Smith is a close second. I will say, though, in the new Doctor, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. I'm not, because I will say, when the season started, it came on like last year, year before, and I watched that first episode, Space Babies. That was such a boring episode to me. I almost fell asleep, and I didn't watch the rest of the season until my spouse and I watched it, and I was like, I was really impressed. Like, the whole season was really good. I really enjoyed like the whole season. Like Space Babies, I'm glad they did that first, because all right, let's get the first episode, the worst episode first, and then it gets better from there. So I'm really excited. And then you got what's his name? Russell T Davies back as showrunner, which is, I guess someone to be expected. But just the themes that this last season of Doctor Who touched on. And the Doctor is a crying somebody. He is always crying in this current iteration of this Doctor. But I enjoyed it. I thought the stories were really well done, really paced, really well. And I was really concerned after Space Babies. I'm like, oh, this could be some garbage. But the season was really good.
Awesome.
Sometimes you just gotta get that bad one out of there first.
Yeah.
Like a pancake. That first one was a little messed up. You gotta get that first one up out of there.
Yeah, you're right. That's how like first pancake is always, it doesn't cook up right. The grease is a bit too hot. Like one side is darker than the other. Then you get that out, even though it tastes good. But you get the rest of the pancakes and everything else is perfect after that.
Yeah. And the same how I be that Doctor Who. Hot take, I have never seen Doctor Who. Never watched it. I was always on something else growing up. I never watched Doctor Who before, but my brother and my cousins, they love it. They talk about the lore all the time. I just sit there and enjoy it now.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I seen an episode or two of David Tennant. That's okay. It.
I love the lore. I love the callbacks, especially with the specials they had and then leading to the new Doctor. there are. I put this. I wrote an article on my site many years ago, equating the Power Rangers to Doctor Who, and not so much like they're the same caliber, but you can have a new team every single year and do something different while still being loosely connected to the other series, but not being connected. And that is one of the things I think with Power Rangers that it has lasted so long, that you've been able to continue to channel the same sort of energy, but do different things, but also, especially, I guess, what it was 30 years last year. So between, I guess, the last 5 or 10 years or so, I'd really say the last 5 years, from 25th year to last year, they've done a good job of even connecting to the past with some of the things that they've done in some of the series. Doctor Who's the same way, in my opinion, especially with the newer series. There are so many callbacks, and not callbacks in the, oh, you got to know this, but nods and homages to things that happened in previous series. Even like from like the specials leading up to the last season, with the toy maker and bringing him back, and like that is a character that appeared like once, and I feel like I don't remember if he fought against the first Doctor or the second Doctor, but it was one of the earlier Doctors, and so you see like the old footage of that, and with new in this case, it was played by Neil Patrick Harris, and how even that set up some of the things that happened in the series, talking about the past. I really enjoyed that. It is not heavy-handed, and it's funny because I end up having to tell my spouse, like, oh, this is what this is, and this is what they're referencing, because she's only new Who. She's not old Who. Like, she's, we was this 2025, so this will be year 18 of marriage, 19 being together. So we met in 06. So she got into Doctor Who with Tennant, because I was watching. So we kind of got it. So she really knows then now. So the older stuff, like she's learned about through like the was it 50th or 60th anniversary special they had, and all this stuff. But the little callbacks have just been neat. For me as someone who's watched Who pretty much my entire life.
That's like us reading comics and watching the movies and something come like, oh shit, that Easter egg, that's dope.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, and what's your website?
My website, you can find everything that is Webster Style, websterstyle.com.
Websterstyle.com. All right. Then we're gonna have to call it there. Thank you for everything, Webster Style, for coming on.
Thank you.
Make sure y'all check him out. We'll place all his.
Make sure you guys follow this guy. He keeps us up on the smell goods or smell good.
I want to ask you, do you have a favorite smell good?
Oh man, I say I have like 3. Like if I got rid of everything, 3 I always keep. One is a Horror Signature Pour Home. I love that classic gentleman scent. Lavender, frankincense, myrrh, really nice. The second one is Ovation for Men. Ovation for Men is one of those fragrances that my spouse is. There are very few fragrances she has a reaction to. The one she has a reaction to, that's when she's like, wait, what do you like? The first one I was like, what are you wearing? So that one also, and there's Black owned too, and Sean, I've interviewed him, one of the guys behind it. Great company, is a great fragrance. And then the last one is Oxford Blue. Oxford Blue is a fragrance that got me into fragrances. I would say it smells like Versace Eros, but in my opinion, is a bit more robust than Versace Eros. But the DNA is very similar, and it costs cheaper than Versace Eros too. So,
shout out to that, man. Versace Eros is still expensive.
It's not that bad, but it's trust me, there are ones like I'm wearing today. I'm wearing Japanese whiskey, which I got as a sample. I found some fragrance has it worked. So, but I looked it up because I got the sample from a coworker, and I looked up the price, and that's $380. I was like, goodness. This one right here, this was a gift. Must Therapy. This runs about $400. So Versace Eros is cheap. Versace Eros is cheap.
Sheesh.
But you got to think about it this way. One thing with fragrance, especially I tend to buy smaller bottles just because, like, sometimes I don't know. But if you're paying, 100, 150 for a bottle, like a good 50 ml or 100 ml bottle, that is going to last you a very long time. Right. So, in very sense, what I say about people, especially if you're buying larger bottles of fragrances, like you're making an investment. Like, what's this? Like something like this. Like somebody sent me this from TikTok. Or even a good old cheapie, Nautica Voyage. You can get this bottle about $20, $25. I've already had this bottle 2 years or so. And you see I'm not even halfway through it.
Right.
This is a cheapie. And I will overspray and wear it a lot because it's a great fragrance for the summer. Something like this, you don't need to spray a lot of it. So it lasts you a long time. You get your money worth. Like this one, I didn't plan as that man. Like, so this is Mont Blanc Individual. You can get this typically at a Marshall's or something. If you find it, it's maybe about $30 or so. I've had Mont Blanc Individual.
Okay.
I've had this bottle 3 years, maybe 4 now. So you get your money's worth if you get a good fragrance.
Right. Okay.
So, but I will agree. If I'm going past $200, I'm really thinking about, do I really need this? Because that's, that's light bill, that's electric bill, that's internet. You think about all the bills you're not paying by buying this.
Right. That's definitely an investment.
That's half the Switch too.
Yep. Oh, yeah, sure. Shoot. Yeah, for real. This is almost a Switch 2 right here. Well, at least if you live in America and Japan, it's more than a Switch 2. I'm still salty about that, but I'm still rocking my Xbox One, so I'll be quite all right.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm building me a PC right now. So nice. I'm building console gaming for now.
Hey, it makes sense, honestly. That's why, like, I thought about getting a Series S, but I'm like, nah, I don't really need it. Any new games, I got Game Pass Ultimate, so I could just stream them through my Xbox One or even 2. There's no reason for me to buy anything new. Now, when a handheld comes out, yeah, because my game library is serious. Between just what I own, I think it was like 250 games that I own that doesn't include Game Pass or games with gold. And you got to think, but I've been with Xbox since the OG Xbox. So I got 360 games, Xbox One games, OG Xbox games that I all own that I link to my account.
Nice. My man got a library over there.
Exactly. And then you add in Game Pass and games with gold, I think it was like 800 when I was looking the other day. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Their game, I have this game. I need to play this. I've had it like 5 years. Like, oh.
But listen, I wish I still had access to my old Xbox profile. I had to make a new one. All them games I had into there gone.
That's hard.
That's why I make that argument about it's time to go back to physical copies.
You can't even do that because they hook you. Literally, let me tell you. So, they discontinued, they delisted the Avengers game that Crystal Dynamics did, right? I bought a physical copy from my Xbox One a couple weeks ago. They get you because you got a physical copy, but you still got to download it. It's been stuck at 55% for the past month.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Exactly. Like literally, if I could probably turn my Xbox right now and show you guys, it still says 55%.
Yeah.
Right. You do gotta download them still.
Yeah, and that's they get you. They get you.
I could have told you. You could have just bought a copy of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, that's on sale right now too. That's like $8 on the sale.
Oh, word.
Yeah, I was looking at the spring sales. Like, yeah, I'm like, oh, $8. I thought about it.
It's actually a really fun game.
I heard.
It's a really fun game, The story feels like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. The fighting system, once you get a hang of it,
Mm-hmm.
you'll have a lot of fun with it.
Okay.
But I like the only reason that game didn't do well is because it came out after the Avengers.
Yep. Yep. That's the
And
only reason.
Are you
yeah.
playing anything right now?
Um, what have I been playing? I started South of Midnight the other day. I'm about a half hour, 45 minutes into that. Um, so that's what I'm playing recently. A lot of times I get on. I'm also been working through Star Trek Resurgence. I'm about, I think, 60% of the way through that game, but I haven't picked it up in a while. So those are two games that I'm like actively playing to play through. Other games I get on, I'll just play just because I need some downtime. Like
Right.
Broforce, like that's just a fun, stupid shooter game I like playing. Um, yeah, that's about it for right now. So there are a bunch of things in my library that I keep looking like, oh, I got to play this. But for the most part, um, those are the ones I'm going back to right now.
Okay.
Okay. Shoot.
How are you liking South by Midnight?
Except I've been excited for this game. It's one that so I do NRW checkpoint, my man Brian, and one of the things we always talk about when we talk about games is we love to see originality. We love to see different stories. And when I saw South of Midnight, I was very excited because it was something different that we hadn't seen before. Not just the main character, but the story, the setting. So I was very excited, and hopefully they screw it up. So far, I'm very much into the world. I just want to see what happens. Like it's funny. I play games now. Like I don't care about achievements. I don't care about their platinum. Like does it have a good story? And it seems like the story is one that I want to know more about, and that's why I'm playing. So it seems pretty good so far. That's the same reason I picked up Star Trek Resurgence. It's like point and click, sort of Walking Dead, Telltale style game. You play those for the story. It's Star Trek. It's like set in between, like in that Deep Space Nine Next Gen era. Oh,
Right.
take my money. Like seriously, like take, and they had Spock and whoever in that game is doing Spock's voice. You would lie to me and tell me they did not dig up Leonard Nimoy and have him, like he sounds just like Leonard Nimoy. It is so
wow.
That dude is so good.
Really?
Add that to the playlist.
Yeah, and it's like a $40 game too, and they run sales all the time for that one.
All right, Corey, check us out.
All right, y'all. Everybody, this is a Webster Styles here. We want to thank for coming in with us today. We had a great time talking with him. I hope you had a great time talking with us.
Yes, definitely.
And of course, we want to thank you guys for checking us out. For those of you out there listening to the podcast, wherever you're listening to them, make sure you give us a good rating. Leave a comment or two. If you folks out there on YouTube, you're watching but you're not subscribed, we need to fix that out. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you can be updated on anything and everything from Amerime Media. Comic Boss.
Thank you for coming out, Webster.
I appreciate y'all having me. Appreciate it.
Make sure y'all subscribe to him. We're gonna put all his links down in the description. Make sure y'all go over to his website, websterstyle.com, and read all the amazing articles he's putting up over there.
Thank you.
We'll see everybody next time. Please take care of yourselves. Be well. Drink water.